Hello everybody, welcome and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing on the best of 3 standard ranked ladder with a Jeskai legendary relic Delny trigger deck. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm a slime now. This is like version 1 of my Vtuber model, and I got it a little while back and added in some horns onto it just because, I think it looks cool. But version 2 should be coming out pretty soon, and I was just really excited to use this one, so we're previewing it early. Basically, we just have every single 2-power legendary creature in the Jeskai colors in here that at least synergizes, plus Rocco. Basically, what this deck is trying to do is assemble Rona Inti Pia. This trifecta allows you to generate just crazy amounts of card advantage, plus you get an army of Thopters from Pia, and that can usually end you the game. Delny doubles up on those triggers, so with Relic and Rona, you can end up just going like mana positive when you're, casting small things into big things. You can kind of just empty out your hand on turn 3 sometimes, which is actually nuts. But yeah, this is just kind of like Jeskai weenies, but you play stuff from Exile, and it's just endless value, which is kind of my favorite archetype right now. I don't super enjoy playing aggro, and I don't really like control as much, so these sort of mid-range piles are definitely where I prefer to end up. We have a couple different add-ins today since the last time. We're trying out Argris Koss, Spirit of Justice. This is another 2-power legend. When he enters or attacks, you can choose a creature. If it's suspected, exile it, otherwise suspect it. So with Delny into Argris, you have a 4-mana 2/4 that when it enters or attacks, exiles a creature. That's dumb. I want to play with that. We also put in a single copy of Dorothy, since the enchant creature doesn't actually boost power toughness. You can just put it on a Pia or a Denic or something, and Delny will double trigger that, because the enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, you create the 4/4. So if you just put it on a 2/2, suddenly you're attacking in for 10 power, kind of out of nowhere. Relic of Legends is our mana accelerant in here. If you go turn 1 Skrelv, turn 2 Rona, turn 3 Relic, you basically have 3 more mana after you play the Relic, so you can play any of your 3 drops. If it's a legendary creature, it's going to untap Rona, so then you can use Rona plus that 3-drop to play another 2-drop. So the deck spirals out of control really fast when you get a hand, or when you get a Relic down early, and you can also sink that mana into a Kayla's Reconstruction. If you can do X equals 3 or 4, usually you're going to hit pretty much all your cards, and you can just kind of assemble all of these silly little legendary creatures and just win the game with a cascade of value. If you guys are excited to see this in action, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed if you aren't already, as I'd really appreciate it. I upload to YouTube 5 days a week with magic content just like this, so if you don't mind dropping a subscription, I'd really appreciate it, since I'm still working on getting my channel partnered. I'm also going to leave a QR code right next to me and a link in the description to my TCG Player Partner cart. If you need to pick up any cards for standard season or whatever, make sure to use it through that link. It's a way to help support me and my channel. But with all that said, let's hop onto the ladder and see how this does. Alright, game 1 is going to start out with broken audio and one-liner, so we get voiceover CBD today. Next hand, same thing. Third hand, however, is keepable, just a little bit weak. We'll put back a copy of Skrelv, and a copy of Reconstruction since it might just be too slow. Our opponent leads with a Restless Anchorage, and we draw our second Skrelv. We'll play it and pass, and we'll just hope for good top decks from here on out. Pia comes through next. Only to get countered. It was here that I realized my Vtuber looked like it was trying to recreate The Creation of Man by Michelangelo. What a great map. I get to hold hands with Phyrexians. Well, it appears we do get a lucky break. Our opponent is stuck on 2 lands, and we hit our third, so we can slam the Relic of Legends and ramp towards a huge reconstruction next turn. We'll attack with Skrelv, and start that 20-turn clock again. That baits out a Get Lost. Cool. Skrelv doesn't get the message. We have another, so he comes right back. We'll tap him for a mana, and crack a map token. We'll bin another Relic. Yeah, our deck is really not trying its hardest here. Opponent is still stuck on 2, and we don't find another land, so we'll just reconstruction for 2. Inti and Malcolm. Those will let us power out Pia. And we explore. We'll pass and just hope they don't have a lockdown. We'll jam for 7, pitch a land to Inti. And start popping off with spells and Thopters. As long as our opponent doesn't have a lockdown, we win next turn. Nice. Against Azorius, we bring in Negates, Thalias, and Lauren. And we'll trim a few cards that aren't quite as good on the draw. Game 2, another 1-lander. The next hand is fine, however. As long as opponent doesn't have a way to take out each legend the turn it comes down. Skrelv takes the first bullet as we pass back to the opponent. He gets marched away, with Rona soon to follow. Not great. At least we can untap double legend one more time. This time we make it back to our turn. Skrelv 2 eats another Get Lost as we move to attacks. Inti pitches a land and finds Aerith. Not exactly what we want early game, but she does produce a ton of card advantage and we cast her in main 2. Our impulse hits find a Relic and a Squee. The Relic is great. We'll play it as we lose Inti to a second Get Lost. We'll explore some lands. Now we have enough mana to leverage our Pia. Play a land, get a Thopter. Play Malcolm, get a Thopter. Since opponent passed with Emperor mana open, we'll just jam with Thopters. Pass from here, trying to hold open our Plaza with our Legends. Sadly, opponent has a Memory Deluge, which will more than likely find him a Sunfall. Yup, that's a rough one. And a Thalia off the top? Could've used that a turn ago. Either way, we'll dump our hand. Crack some maps. And leave a negate on the top.
Your hope is wasted.
Jace comes down and shrinks Delny. That's fine. She still has her abilities, and that's all I care about. We'll activate the Anchorage and get in for 2. And make 2 maps. After combat, we try and grow the land. It can dodge sweepers, and it's done its job already making multiple maps for us. Guild of Ruin.
No secret escapes my grasp.
I decide to cycle our land here and take down the negate shield. We're starting to fall behind, so I have to start taking some small risks. More land isn't great, but a second negate is. Since the opponent has a field, we'll animate the bigger Anchorage first. That way, if they blow it up, we can use it to animate the next one. Finally, here comes the Emperor. We snap off the negate. I can't really afford to let them have 2/2s that can block, or to lose my land. Another explorer finds our third negate. Clutch.
The data requires scrutiny.
An Eternal Wanderer. Great. They decide to go with the board wipe though, and they leave us with Delny. Big mistake. She can't be blocked by their token, so she and the land can clear both walkers next turn. A reconstruction is a fantastic draw. We'll keep chewing through these maps and leave open our negate as we pass the turn. They play a land and flash back their deluge, which reeks of desperation. We're still in main 1. If we fight over this now, and they have a counter, yep, they'll be tapped down, and I can force through more damage now. We reconstruction for 2, which just proves that I can't do math. 3 would have been fine. We end up just needing 2, so maybe I'm nuts, who knows. We grab a Rona and a Lauren, which blows up their token twice. In for 5, switch it to 4. We explore on the land, finding a Skrull. If they board wipe next turn, Skrull might be able to force the last few points we need, so we'll keep it on top. Opponent digs for a field, and they find it, which is pretty rough. They drop a lockdown, but it only ends up snagging Rona, which lets us get 4 damage through either way. GG's and well played. Next game. Or is it the same one? Another one-lander. How does this keep happening? And 2 is better. At least we have some land to put back. We'll lead things off with the Pia. Opponent plays a Noise Inquisitor, so we're going against Azorius Artifacts this time. We drop our Relic and power out Inti, which is a great spot to be in. We should have our Thopter Factory going soon. attacks here could get hairy, but we end up jamming with Inti. Who gets an Igonja thrown at him. Luckily, we have an Otawara for 2 mana, and it saves him. And Impulses, which finds the next land. We replay Inti, and the client yells at me to update, and we follow that out with a powered out Aerith. A unicorn here is really scary, but our Vtuber factory is fully online. We'll jam with the Vtuber, and pitch our last land to find a Delny, which breaks the Vtuber factory even wider open. So, if we lose this game from here, I'll be pretty sad. We really just have to worry about land into Sunfall, otherwise we may just have lethal next turn. Nice. We bring in some Lauren and another reconstruction for game 2. Got a few Denics. Game 2, and is great, as long as we find a third land. We have a Relic Rona curve, so obviously we'll keep. No land so far, hopefully next turn. I'll play Rona. And down comes a Warden, and an Inquisitor. We'll take 4. And they crank their Warden. No land. Great. Not even with a loot. We pitch Squee. We'll play a Legend to untap the Rona for another loot. But no avail. This game is over already. And down comes a Spellbook Vendor, and thankfully opponent forgot to crank the Warden pre-combat here. So we take 6 instead of 10. After combat, they crank it and send the card to the bottom. Tapped land? Yikes. We loot into an untapped land, thankfully, but the damage has been done. We play a handful of legends here, but we're way too far behind to do anything except chump. Alright, Warden has been triple cranked now, so he's up in the air. They flip their token. We'll make our sad blocks. We can kill the Warden, but however we block, we're just dead next turn. Ouch. This time, I think we bring in the marches to help with stalls or to keep us alive. Game 3, we have a beautiful hand. Rona into Relic and another 2-drop? Perfect. We can dump our hand on turn 3 and loot away some lands. Thankfully, the opponent has a much slower start this time. Case into the boat. Well, a call is a problem. They crew the schooner and in for 3. Thankfully, we can snipe it with Igonjo. And loot away an extra land with Rona. And we find more land. Nice. Since the hand is just a bit slow, I decide to force the opponent's moves by flipping Rona and starting the beatdown plan. They drop a Warden and Otawara the Rona. Not the worst. We can still replay and flip her again. A reconstruction here is huge. We can fire it off for 4 and still hold open the Ota if we hit another 2 legends to discount it. Thankfully, we get 3. really glad to have the Oda here. We can bounce the clue to hand and stop the glyph from discovering, which is huge. And instead play a Bunnicorn. We transform Rona again, but with incorrect sequencing. We should have played Inti first with the Rona mana, then transform, but live and learn. We play Inti, jam with Rona, we do have Skrelv to force through damage, but since we have a second Rona in exile, we just let them decide if they want to block or not. We'll play out the rest of our stuff, and pass. GG's. This deck is so much fun. And a couple post-game thoughts for everybody. I still love this deck. It is absolutely stupid how hard it pops off. Didn't get to actually try the Dorothy Disturb thing earlier, but she did, block a Warden of the Inner Sky, which was pretty good. I'm definitely going to be messing around with this list some more. I really do enjoy the Aerith Pia kind of interaction where you can just make stupid amounts of Thopters. The whole Inti Aerith thing is a little rough. Having to have the cards in hand to discard when all of your draws get turned into exiles can be a little bit difficult. But you can get around that with Restless Anchorage map tokens. They can put the land cards directly into your hand, and it does get around Aerith's replacement effect. Rona, however, if you are hellbent with Aerith, is pretty dang good since you draw, which impulses 2, and then you don't have to discard, so it's just tap, look at 2 cards, which is insane. But yeah, I love the deck. I can't really think of too many other things to add into this. Might go up another Agris, just to test, make sure it's good in here. It does dodge Kayla's Reconstruction in the main, which is pretty rough. I was trying to keep this deck to all 3 drops and below, but this guy with Delny is just so broken, I really wanted to try it. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.